Welcome to the Personal Computer Show. Today is Wednesday, March the 4th, 2020. A shout out to the men and women serving in the military of our country. We thank them for their services. I'm Hank Key and my colleague is Joe King. Do you know who has your personal data? Do you know how Facebook, Google, Amazon, and other big tech companies are using your personal data? Our website is pcradioshow.org. We are heard each Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on prn.fm, streaming on the Internet. Podcasts of the program is available on prn.fm, on the Internet, and pcradioshow.org. To listen to the live program on the telephone each Wednesday, it's 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and the number is 641-793-7091. You can leave us a message with your question or comments at hank@pcradioshow.org. In the news this evening, TCF Computer Festival, March the 21st, 2020. Google apologizes for Nest glitch. AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile will be fined $200 million. What's new with solar panel technology? Feature segments this evening. Benjamin Rockwell with his IT Pro Series, Part 2 of 5. Why IT Communication Enhancements. From the Tech Corner, I will be talking about the pace of cord cutting exponentially accelerating. Small cable TV providers are walking away from pay TV. Frontier Communications give up on pay TV. Could Verizon, FIOS dump cable TV? And AT&T TV now available with Android TV set-top box. And Marty Winston, all hands on tech. Growth in consumer products to measure IAQ, the indoor air quality. The year was 1976. I picked up a copy of the New York Times that was reporting on a computer festival that was held out at Trenton State College. I said, wow, that's exactly what I've been looking for. Because previously I had bought a Sphere 6800. It's a microprocessor computer. And I got it all in bits and pieces and parts and it didn't come whole. And, I want to find out who was also interested in doing this. And by sharing interest, I can learn a lot more. So I made plans to go to the following year. And that was TCF, Trenton Computer Festival, in the year 1977. And it was big. The cars were backed up. Cars were honking. It was great fun then. And from there, I caught the bug, and to be transparent about it, I am a member of the Trenton Computer Festival Steering Committee, so I'm biased. So this year, it's going to be the 45th Trenton Computer Festival, and it's going to be held Saturday, the 21st of March, be held at the College of New Jersey, formerly known as Trenton State College. It's out in Ewing, New Jersey. It's the original Personal Computer Festival, and the hours are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The keynote speaker for this year is Jerry Foster, and he's the CTO and co-founder of Plex Systems. The title of his talk is How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Artificial Intelligence. From its humble beginnings to become a disruptive force with an eye towards the significant positive impact on the world that we live in. And there are other featured tech talks and workshops which includes do-it-yourself home automation, tricks and tips for Windows 10, quantum computing, WordPress Bootcamp. WordPress is the most used software tool for building your website, and actually it's pretty easy to use. There'll be a talk on new Internet of Things using 5G. And in the market that we're in today, stock market trading using neural networks. There'll be hands-on Arduino workshop for beginners, all-day robotics pavilion. Part of the festival is that we're going to have vendors there. It includes flea market people, and it should be quite interesting. You never know what they're going to bring in to sell. I remember back in the first year that I was there in 1977, someone had an IBM 1401. I would have loved to have had it, but that no way I was going to bring it home and run up an electric bill. For more information about the Trenton Computer Festival, it's tcf-nj.org. Google apologizes for Nest glitch. Google has apologized for a glitch in its Nest camera system last week that prevented many customers from recording video and viewing live streams. I was one of them that got caught in it. We're still doing some investigating, they said, but at this point, they said that the issue was due to a scheduled storage service software update that didn't go as intended, said the vice president of Google Nest. Hey, wait a minute now. Don't you test this stuff out before you implement it? Do you know what testing is? Are you just throwing it up there up on the wall and say to the customer, let's see if it works? That's not the way to do it. Although Google said they fixed the problem, unfortunately, video history wasn't collected during this incident. Yeah, I know about that. You depend on Nest cameras to keep an eye on your home and the people in it, so of course it's frustrating when you can't, he said. For that, please accept my apology. Yeah. You know what? Google, you're not ready for prime time with your Nest. Sightline, notifications, and camera connectivity have been restored, they said. We know this issue has been frustrating. Thanks for bearing with us. Thanks, but no thanks. Customers who are still having problems should contact Google's support team. We did. And guess what? They said, that's not our problem, it's your problem. Did the people out in the field realize that there was a problem? Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile will be fined more than $200 million for selling customer locations. The Federal Communications Commission plans to fine 4 mobile phone carriers a total of $200 million for making consumers' real-time location data available to third parties. The companies will be able to challenge the amount of the fines before they become final. It was reported last year that AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile were selling users' real-time location data to third-party distributors. In the wake of that report, the carriers pledged to stop selling the data, or in some cases said they already cut ties with the offending contractors. Still, some carriers have defended the sharing of the data as a general practice, even as they condemn specific partners. In a letter published last May, AT&T described data sharing as an important feature commonly used by app developers to provide location services. For example, ride-sharing apps use AGPS, which stands for Assisted Global Positioning System, to make sure the car shows up in the right location. As GPS devices are communicating with satellite, it can get information only under clear sky conditions and when satellite is reachable without any interference. Due to this, it is slower in responding to requested service. While AGPS devices are communicating with network stations, it gets information even in cloudy atmosphere and worse network conditions. But it will have problems when network is not reachable. Under this condition, AGPS devices fall back to GPS features, if available, to provide location information as per user request. A GPS device are faster as it need not to have to go to the satellite for information. For these reasons, some reports of purported improper use of AGPS are incorrect. The FCC launched an investigation into location data practices shortly after the report, and lawmakers have pushed the Commission to demonstrate progress at various points during the ensuing year. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai said last month that one or more wireless carriers apparently violated federal law. Reach for comment, Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat from Oregon, criticized the FCC's slow action in response to the privacy violations. This issue only came to light after my office and dedicated journalists discovered how wireless companies share Americans' locations willy-nilly. Wyden said in a statement, Pai only investigated after public pressure mounted, and now his response is a set of comically inadequate fines that won't stop phone companies from abusing Americans' privacy the next time they make a quick buck. In January, FCC Commissioner Jessica Rosenworcel also criticized the agency for taking so long to act on the reports. It's chilling to consider what a black market could do with that data. She said, it puts the safety and privacy of every American with a wireless phone at risk. What's new with solar panel technology? Solar panel in Alaska has been primarily used in remote locations, such as the Nenana Teen Center near Fairbanks, where long summer days provide most of the electricity generated. However, in 2015, Alaska ranked 45th in installed solar among U.S. states. Rooftop solar panels could provide 23% of all electricity used in Alaska. Researchers now say anti-solar panels can generate electricity at night. In order to develop solar panels that generate electricity at night, you just need them to operate in the exact opposite way solar panels work during the day. One of the problems with the solar panels is they don't generate electricity at night, so we have to store the electricity they generate during the day to power things during the evening. That works fine, but what if we could develop solar panels that did generate electricity at night? It's possible, and the way it works is pretty surprising. Researchers from the University of California, Davis, explain in a new paper that was just published in the Journal of ACS Photonics that if you want to create a solar panel that generates electricity at night, then you just have to create one that operates the exact opposite way solar panels work during the day. It's being referred to as the anti-solar panel. Solar panels are cold compared to the sun, so they absorb the sun's light and turn it into energy. Space is very cold, so if you point a panel on Earth that is comparatively warm toward it, it will radiate heat as invisible infrared light. This allows you to generate electricity by capturing that power. The paper claims such a device could generate about a quarter of the electricity at night that a normal solar panel generates during the day. Jeremy Munday, a professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at UC Davis, who is an author of the paper, says that whether it's a solar panel or it's an anti-solar panel, these things are essentially just heat engines. You have heat energy coming from the sun towards the earth, and that normal solar cell picks off that energy as it's transmitted from the sun to the earth. So basically, you need these two different temperature bodies and some way of converting that power. Munday says, what this nighttime device does is a similar sort of thing where it's just taking a hot body and a cold body, but now the relatively hot body is the earth and the space is the cold body. As this heat is flowing from the earth to outer space, it's picking that off and converting that into power. This kind of device uses what is called a thermoradiative cell to generate electricity, as opposed to the photovoltaic cell used by a conventional solar panel, where a solar panel is typically made of silicon, which is good at capturing light that's largely in the visible spectrum. This device has to be made of something that can capture extremely long wavelength light. Munday is currently looking at mercury alloys that would be good for this. Munday and his team are currently working on developing prototypes to see how well they can make this concept work. Other researchers are also looking into how to make solar panels or anti-solar panels that generate electricity at night. Researchers at Stanford published a paper in the journal Joule in November showing how a thermoelectric generator that radiates heat to the sky can generate electricity. Unlike traditional thermoelectric generators, our device couples the cold side of the thermoelectric module to a sky-facing surface that radiates heat to the cold of the space and has its warm side heated by the surrounding air, enabling electricity generation at night. Our batteries have been slowly getting better for years, and so have our solar panels, so we don't necessarily need solar panels that can generate electricity at night to meet our energy needs. However, if we can devise a system that can generate clean energy 24 hours a day, we could possibly produce more energy than we need and store it for various purposes, such as an emergency. It's better to have too much energy than to come up short. Well, the basic technology is there. Let's see how fast we can get this to manufacturing and distribution in the real world. Presenting Benjamin Rockwell with his Part 2 of 5 IT Pro Series, Why IT Communications Enhancements.
A number of years ago, my boss, the owner of the company, came to me and said, "I don't need you nerds around. You're just a cost center. You just cost me money. You don't make me money." This is Benjamin Rockwell, and it's time for me to provide some information in regards to professional information technology topics. This is where I give you my experience of 30 years of being an IT professional. Now, this is part 2 of 5 in regards to why businesses need information technology. Yes, for some, you're going to gain insight. Others, maybe it's just a reminder. Maybe others will hear what I'm saying and they'll hear these different items and they'll say it's a little bit of a different way. So I want to know what you think, by the way. Write me here at the show and I will get back with you. Now, previously, we talked about communication with customers. Now, I want to talk about research. This is something that we've known for a long time. We've entered into the information age. We've entered into a point in time where we can go on over to any computer that we have in the company and we pull up a browser and we can type in a number of different questions. Now, some of these different questions that we have along the way, they may not be readily answerable by the internet, but I'll get to that in a few minutes. We have today the ability to reach out via the internet and look up whatever it is that you might imagine. We know this. Wikipedia has all kinds of information in regards to, just as an example, every airplane out there, getting down to some pretty obscure bits and pieces of knowledge in regards to, just as an example, the A-10 aircraft. Now, it doesn't have all of the schematics of the aircraft. It doesn't have all of the different statistical items that may be public or not public, mostly the confidential, classified information that doesn't get released to the public. But it has a lot of other information. And there are many other sites out there that even specialize into more minutia in regards to, just as this example, the A-10 aircraft. A business with access to the internet has technological ability now to research what the competition is doing. We can go on out and we can look at what our competitors are doing. And that works out very nicely, both in the idea of competing against them, but also seeing how they are leveraging technology or other techniques to gain a foothold on the market that maybe we can utilize ourselves. So we analyze them to see how we can beat them at their own game, but also beat them utilizing our own gaming ideas. Some of the research we might do is finding out other new ways to reach new customers. We might find somebody out there advertising a certain way, and we say, I never thought about it like that. Let me approach it from a new perspective. For a business to survive, it has to do research. We can't just sit there and do the same thing that we've done every day for the last 100 years. It isn't going to work unless you're Amish, unless you're sitting there making buggies. But even then, the Amish have moved forward. The Amish do have websites. Believe it or not, they may not run those websites. They may do very limited interaction with those websites, but they are utilizing technology very slowly. They're not truly Luddites, but they are moving towards technology at a very slow pace, understanding that they're going to gain more customers. Now, they weigh that on out, and there's a whole nother topic for another day for other people perhaps to discuss. But I'm telling you, yes, even the Amish have adapted with technology. They're looking to grow. They're looking to acquire new customers. Without the internet, they would be doing the same thing that they've done for a long time. But now, can you afford to do that? If the Amish are developing websites, If the Amish are selling things online, shouldn't you? Shouldn't you have an information technology department? Shouldn't you be leveraging the internet? See, this internet thing, we've all heard about it. We've all dealt with it, hopefully. It allows a business to move into new markets. It allows them to reach out and develop new customers in a number of different ways. We no longer have to do a bunch of traveling around the world. We no longer have to deal with interacting with people in different time zones by staying up all night to, 10 o'clock, we're going to have this meeting, 10 o'clock at night, because we have to talk to somebody in Japan. No, it's easy now. We send off an email. We interact with our business partners around the world. And we can also research what other people are doing around the world. And I have totally glossed over the fact that we can also research what we're doing within our company. We can also research all of the different things statistically, where we're gaining ground, where we're doing better, or where we're losing money within our company. And that's part of research. That's a statistical analysis that is available to all business owners out there if you have good information technology. And I'll get more into that next time. This is Benjamin Rockwell. Back to you, Hank.
Thank you, Benjamin. Cord cutting has picked up momentum. It has started to accelerate exponentially. Do you live in a town with a small cable TV provider? Increasingly, a growing number of them have decided to walk away from offering traditional cable TV and are instead partnering with streaming services like Sling TV, Fubo TV, Philo, and YouTube TV. YouTube TV has become a leader in this effort to partner with smaller cable TV providers. Even some larger cable TV providers like Verizon FIOS have partnered with YouTube TV to offer TV. In recent months, the number of smaller companies ditching TV or at least offering a streaming service like YouTube TV has skyrocketed. Recently, Windstream, Cincinnati Bell, and Hawaiian Telcom have joined the rush to move to streaming. So who's next? Sling TV, Fubo TV, and others have all started to move into this field, offering partnerships to help smaller cable companies jumpstart their streaming efforts. Amazon also recently announced that they would make partnerships to offer the Fire TV as a cable box replacement to cable companies. Increasing smaller companies are finding they can't compete with larger satellite companies like Dish and DirecTV, but they are also finding they can't compete with streaming services. Instead, smaller cable TV providers seem more interested in focusing on the internet business. Now, this is not all bad news, as the live TV streaming services they are offering are likely offering at minimum a one-time payout for new subscribers. Instead of paying money to upgrade their TV services, this may be a better deal. The question now is, how quickly will this trend grow? At what point will we see larger cable TV providers ditch cable TV? What is clear is 2020 is likely the year the small cable TV death spiral starts speeding up. Some of you may not have heard of Frontier Communications. Frontier Communications Corporation is a telecommunications company in the United States, and in addition to local and long-distance telephone service, Frontier offers broadband internet, digital television service, and computer technical support to residential and business customers in 29 states in the United States. Frontier was known as Citizens Utilities Company until May of 2000 and Citizens Communications Company until July of 2008. The company previously served primarily rural areas and smaller communities, but now also serves several large metropolitan markets. In addition to local and long-distance telephone service, Frontier offers broadband internet, digital television service, and computer technical support to residential and business customers. Frontier is the 8th largest provider of broadband internet in the United States with a little bit less than 4 million subscribers. It is also the 11th largest pay television provider in the United States with about 850,000 subscribers. Frontier becomes now the latest telecom to give up on pay TV. 4 years after paying over $10.5 billion, that's with a B, to acquire FIOS assets from Verizon, Telcom becomes the latest pay TV provider to enable cord cutting with third-party vMVPD services. I know, that's a mouthful. I had to look it up. It means virtual multi-channel video programming distributors, also referred to as streaming TV services. Now that everyone knows, streaming TV services, where it aggregates live and on-demand TV and deliver the content over the internet in linear fashion. Frontier Communication has become the latest telecom to retrench from the traditional pay TV business and simply offer third-party streaming TV service to what is now its core service offering, broadband. The broadband, which is known as Philo, P-H-I-L-O, offers a bundle of 59 entertainment-themed channels, no broadcast networks or sports or news, for an industry low $20 a month. And they announced that both Frontier and cable company Wide Open West will offer its service to its broadband-only customers. Frontier paid Verizon over $10.5 billion in 2016 for FIOS assets in California, Texas, and Florida, but less than 4 years after that deal closed, Frontier seems to be content with rendering its FIOS service as a single-play offering. Frontier's pay TV subscriber base shrunk from below 700,000 at the end of the third quarter, and like virtually all other North American pay TV operators, the company faces a virtuous cycle. The more its customers base for TV shrinks, the less bargaining power it has to push back against programmers in licensing negotiations. This downward trajectory has most small and mid-sized telecoms looking to third-party, over-the-top services. Providing a video solution is crucial to packaging what is now their core business, broadband, and bundling ready-made live streaming service like Philo has become a hot trend. Could Verizon FIOS dump cable TV for YouTube TV? On a recent earnings call, Verizon CEO Hans Vestberg was apparently pressed if their FIOS TV service could someday be swapped out in favor of a bundled residential broadband and YouTube TV package. According to a readout of the call, Vestberg did not directly answer the question. Instead of commenting that over-the-top video services like YouTube TV are where the market is going, and more content is coming and you need to start mixing and matching. While the question was clearly a valid one and important as Verizon and YouTube TV already have a partnership, Vestberg's non-answer was quite telling. It was essentially the equivalent of Verizon stating its cable TV product is slowly becoming more and more obsolete as time goes on, thanks to services like Netflix, Hulu, and changes in how consumers watch video content. However, that is just not streaming services that are doing damage to Verizon's ability to sign up new cable TV customers, or at least retain the ones they have. Signing up for FIOS, you'll find out it's not exactly a fun experience. You could easily think you're signing up for a one price point and get a nasty bill with much higher rate later on unless you do your homework. But the challenges for FIOS don't stop there. The actual user interface that powers FIOS TV is horrible, old-looking, and just downright painful to use. It has not changed much in recent years while streaming services are on the cutting edge, crafting platforms that are slickly designed and engaging. FIOS has tried to innovate or at least copy what others are doing by adding a voice command feature on their FIOS remote controls. However, you'll find that it's lacking in understanding basic commands and is nowhere as easy to use as the Xfinity version. Considering the fact that Verizon's cable TV business, once an industry disruptor, is now essentially stagnant in terms of growth, and now would be time to make a big change with an eye towards the future. A much more robust partnership with YouTube TV would make a lot more sense, or even possibly dumping its cable product and going to its own over-the-top only business. The good news is that Verizon has time to make that right choice and has some options, as they are now bleeding TV customers as fast as their competition. They also offer what I would say is the best high-speed internet in the nation, a 1 gigabit symmetrical connection that many high-speed internet customers would die for. Other pay TV providers could only wish they were so lucky. AT&T TV now available nationwide with an Android TV set-top box. Oh, and of course, a 2-year contract has to go with it. AT&T Next Big TV Play has a problem, though: pricing. AT&T TV is launching nationwide after initially rolling out to over a dozen markets last year. The subscription TV service is not to be confused with AT&T TV, now formerly DirecTV. This offering is contract-based, which is a departure from the freedom you get from month-to-month streaming TV apps like YouTube TV, Hulu and Live TV, and Sling TV. Signing up for a 2-year agreement gets you an Android TV set-top box and a very capable like remote control with a Google Assistant button. AT&T is trying to position AT&T TV as its premium streaming TV experience. It's more for people seeking a better cable satellite alternative than a cheaper one. This is basically AT&T's next play as it moves on from DirecTV, which continues to bleed subscribers each quarter as more consumers cut the cord. Alongside Live TV, you can install apps like Netflix, Disney Plus, and others from the Google Play Store, or control smart home devices with the Assistant-enabled remote. Chromecast support is built in too. You can watch AT&T TV on the box when in front of your television, and there's also an AT&T TV app for iOS, iPadOS, and Android. Setup is pretty simple. You plug the box into your TV HDMI port, enter your Wi-Fi info, sign in with your AT&T TV credentials, and then start watching. Everything will feel familiar to cable satellite converts. The remote has number buttons with a channel guide that sticks closely to DirecTV's listing. But here, everything is streaming over the web. The home screen of AT&T TV custom Android TV experience is always Live TV. Whenever you turn it on, it'll pick up from the last channel you were on. Again, very cable-like, and that's actually a touch that can be appreciated. On its own, AT&T TV starts at $49.99 a month. Here's the company's channel lineup so you can see what's offered in each package. The base entertainment package includes local broadcast channels, ESPN, AMC, HGTV, FX, USA, and a decent selection of other cable networks. Sports fan will want to step up to the middle tier choice channel package that goes for $54.99, which adds regional sports networks, like all the ones that YouTube TV nearly just lost, and others such as the Yes Network. The company is promoting a bundle offer that includes gigabit home internet where available and AT&T TV for a combined $80 per month. With all plans, HBO is included for free for the first 3 months, but you have to pay up after that to keep it. Those prices would be fine, or at least competitive, if they stay that way, but they don't. AT&T TV's pricing goes up dramatically after 12 months of service. Entertainment goes from $49.99 to $93. Choice goes to $110. Extra to $124, and Ultimate to $135. Hey, that's like what I have to pay now. You also have to contend with an activation fee and early termination fees if you cancel service before your service agreement is up. The early termination fee is $15 for each month that is still on your contract. If you got YouTube TV or something similar, these might strike you as ugly memories of the cable days. And since you're stuck in that 2-year agreement, there's really no way to avoid a substantial price hike. So what's the point? Well, AT&T is pushing a message of simplicity. You can search across live TV, on-demand content, and streaming apps from one central place without having to switch HDMI ports or juggle remotes. For example, you can easily switch between a live basketball game, Netflix, YouTube, or listen to music on Pandora or Spotify. Unfortunately, there are holes in the app selection, with Amazon Prime Video and Hulu unavailable on the box. So right off the bat, AT&T isn't quite delivering on its vision. The included cloud DVR lets you save up to 500 hours of shows and movies, though content gets deleted after 90 days. AT&T TV allows for up to 3 concurrent streams, so a couple of people can be streaming live TV outside the home when someone's also is watching on the couch. The overall interface and menus are straightforward to navigate, and there's an old-fashioned channel grid if that's your preference for channel surfing. When you don't want to bother pulling up the guide, you can just tell Google Assistant to tune into a certain network by name, which works decently for the most part. The company has said that the HBO Max will see deep integration into the experience once it's launched in May. But does AT&T TV make sense if you're already happy with a different internet TV service on your Roku or on another streaming device? Certainly not. It's especially hard to justify those post-promotion prices compared to other streaming TV apps, which hover around $50 monthly right now. AT&T is hoping that AT&T TV will come off as a next-generation replacement for cable and satellite and help them stem its video losses. But price-conscious consumers might not ever give the service any serious consideration compared to the cheaper competition. AT&T has done well in making live TV the central piece of AT&T TV, but fundamentally the end result isn't that far off from subscribing YouTube TV on an NVIDIA Shield. Presenting Marty Winston, All Hands on Tech, Growth in Consumer Products to Measure IAQ, the Indoor Air Quality.
March seems like a great time to talk about indoor air quality, because by now, hey, we've all had more than enough days as weather-imposed shut-ins to wonder what exactly we're breathing. When you walk in from outdoors, do the indoors smell different? Different, yeah. Note to self, enough with the chili and the next pizzas can be delivery. Well, there's more to recognizing what's in the air than an enhanced sense of stink. Some of it may be scary, and I'll try to explain that. Some of it may be funny, some of it not so funny. You don't need to light a campfire. I'm not telling horror stories, and at least trying not to. What you want to remember is that whatever may be in the air you breathe, you're breathing it. Sure, not breathing isn't an option, but not knowing is. For that matter, not caring is an option, isn't it? As Airthings Chief Marketing Officer Lauren Pedersen tells us.
With the average person spending 90% of their time indoors, it's so important to gain insight into the quality of the air you're breathing, not only in your home, but also in your office and, for example, your kids' schools.
Yeah, you could disagree. You could prefer not knowing or not caring. But neither option gets you a pass from what inside air may be doing to your insides or your home's insides. There are ways to deal with the bad stuff, and most of that can be automated. Are you getting any bad stuff in your air? How do you know? So we have to cover two things. One is about the tech for keeping an eye on indoor air quality at home, and one is about indoor air's ingredients and what they mean. Okay, the tech. There's an Airthings Wave Plus running here. Also a Yoo-Hoo, that's UHOO, a Yoo-Hoo Air. We just got in a K-Terra Laser Egg Plus CO2. Not yet running is a somewhat different thing, an IAQ panel from Aprilaire. Odds are you first encountered the Aprilaire brand on a whole house humidifier piggybacked on your furnace's ductwork, or nearby, a whole house electrostatic air cleaner. The Aprilaire indoor air quality panel was designed to work, well, like a thermostat on steroids. It's using sensor measurements to automatically control more than just whole house heating and cooling. It can also control whole house air cleaners, humidifiers, dehumidifiers, and forced air exchangers. Now, those are HVAC add-ons and big guns, even bulldozers, in dealing with whole house indoor air quality. It's a great example because it shows that the measurement has a purpose, and part of that purpose is in controlling big gear. If the temperature is too hot or cold, turn on the heater or air conditioner. If the relative humidity is too low or too high, turn on the humidifier or dehumidifier. That stuff's obvious. Maybe some of the rest of IAQ can get to be almost as obvious. Never mind your wallet. What's in your lungs? Inevitably, there will have to be some level of oxygen. Surprisingly, very few IAQ monitoring products keep an eye on oxygen levels, but they do look at things that can block oxygen from being useful to your body. Okay, we may all be carbon-based life forms, but when carbon and oxygen get together, the results can put you to sleep, literally. That's what happens when you get too much carbon dioxide and not enough oxygen. You get drowsy and not off to sleep. It's an even longer sleep if you get too much carbon monoxide. The AirThings Wave Plus. It's a disc. Looks a lot like a smoke detector. You know, in its own way, a smoke detector is also an indoor air quality monitor at the more extreme end of things. But the Wave Plus measures something that most other IAQ devices don't. A dangerous radioactive gas called radon. Here's AirThings' Lauren Pedersen again.
Air quality can not only dramatically impact how you feel, it also has huge health consequences. For example, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer for non-smokers. Everyone should have a radon detector in their home.
When we moved in last April, the inspector measured a high radon level here, and we had radon mitigation done. Radon gas comes up through the ground. Every building gets a little. Some get enough to be worrisome. So if you're someone who would rather know than guess, something like an AirThings Wave Plus could be a good idea. The AirThings Wave Plus only has 3 sensors: a radon sensor, a carbon dioxide sensor, and a fairly new multi-purpose sensing chip, the Bosch BME 680. If you're a maker playing with Raspberry Pi and that kind of thing, you may want to look into a BME 680 breakout board that Parallax.com offers. Parallax.com. The BME 680 tracks air pressure, humidity, temperature, and volatile organic compounds, VOCs. More about those in a minute. That AirThings Wave Plus also keeps an eye on carbon dioxide, CO2, which can accumulate when a house is closed up and closed in without periodic airing out. It's obvious. A confined space, we inhale and exhale the air within that space, and just plain breathing uses up some of the oxygen content and adds to the CO2 content. If you have an oil heater or a gas furnace or a gas dryer or a gas range or a gas oven, anything that uses a flame to heat, that's also using oxygen and adding to carbon dioxide. And winter isn't a time when you feel much like opening the windows and airing the place out, right? How much carbon dioxide is too much? The first sign, which admittedly may have other root causes, the first sign is when you feel a little more fatigued, a little drowsier during the winter. That's part of what motivated designing the Laser Egg Plus CO2 from K-Terra, as their CEO, Liam Bates, explains.
For the latest laser egg, we decided to focus on CO2, carbon dioxide, because it's a gas that is all around us. Since we're generating it, it has a very strong impact on how we feel, on our productivity, on how tired and how much energy we have, and it's really easy to fix simply by opening the windows.
The Laser Egg Plus CO2 measures temperature and humidity like just about everybody, but it took some special sensors for 2 other things it measures. Here's Liam again.
The technology that's used to measure CO2 is something called NDIR, non-dispersive infrared. To measure PM2.5 and PM10, which are the particles, fine dust in the air, we use a laser to count these particles as they traverse through the device.
Well, that fine dust isn't just the little sparkles you see in a sunbeam. It's a lot smaller. PM2.5. PM stands for particulate matter. PM2.5 and PM10 are classes of particles no bigger than respectively 2.5 or 10 millionths of a meter. If you could build a wall out of them, you could still hide that wall behind a single human hair. Tiny, teensy tiny. This is the particulate matter that gets tracked in air pollution studies. The Yoo-Hoo Air doesn't measure radon, but does monitor, and there's quite a list here, air pressure, temperature, humidity, VOCs, carbon dioxide, plus carbon monoxide, ozone, nitrogen dioxide, and particulate matter. Nitrogen dioxide? Think about it. Lots of nitrogen in the atmosphere, and oxygen isn't rare, so no, nature does not produce much nitrogen dioxide, but air pollution absolutely does. Is it noxious? Well, check that word. Noxious begins with NOx, the chemical symbol for nitrous oxides, a group of gases that are just plain not good for you. All of them can harm human health, and all of them can harm the environment, and out of all of them, nitrous dioxide is the one to worry about the most. Ozone. Ozone is oxygen's evil cousin because it's a highly reactive gas, meaning it can eat away at things. Growing up, we used to make TV set high-voltage transformers spark, and you could smell the ozone in the air. We thought it was fun. Nobody told us it was poison. Now let's try to pin an understanding onto VOCs, volatile organic compounds. Fuels that you burn, from kerosene to butane to propane to gasoline and beyond, all those flammable combustible hydrocarbons are among the VOCs. So are wood finishes like paint, alcohols are VOCs. There are many others, but those examples can give you a good sense of them. VOCs have been linked to everything from respiratory irritation to cancer. And if you've ever felt fatigue or headaches or even nausea while indoors and then had all of that go away as soon as you got back outside, there's a name for that: sick building syndrome. And it's likely triggered by VOCs. So there are ways in which the Airthings Wave Plus, the Yoo-Hoo Air, and the K-Terra Laser Egg Plus CO2 overlap in what they measure, and ways in which each is watching something the other one doesn't, or with greater precision. Monitoring indoor air quality isn't a new thing. Being able to do it with relatively inexpensive consumer-level electronics, well, that is a relatively new thing. Most of these products let you ask Alexa or Google to tell you what they're seeing, and Liam tells us his laser eggs are almost there too.
Alexa and Google Home compatibility are right around the corner. We are in the final days of testing, and they should be released literally any day now.
And yeah, these have apps that let you see current readings and track past readings. And what they read is also available to IFTTT, and it's fair to guess that other options are or will be around to let people come up with their own programming to use their indoor air quality IAQ data for more than just charts and numbers. In fact, it might be very cool to also fold in some on-site measurement of the weather factors outdoors. You could end up automatically having something simple happen, like turning on exhaust fans, or both exhaust and intake fans with the speed of each, controlled by both the temperature outside and by the difference in indoor versus outdoor air pressure. Electrostatic air cleaners for the whole house or room by room, well, those can clear up some issues. Maybe your house needs filters added to the ventilation registers. How will you know? These could tell you. Or you might discover shortcomings in the way you store paint or thinners or fuels or cleaning supplies. Maybe the readings can lead you to exhaust pipes, letting the bad gases that you wanted to exhaust out of the house leak back into the house. It's all a case of the more you know, well, the more you know. Next time, I'll tell you about a pal almost as geeky as me who's retrofitting an old truck with added power sources like solar panels and lithium cells, finding new ways to take HVAC advances like scroll compressors driven by brushless motors to heat and cool both the driver and the freight, deploying an on-the-road version of systems redundancy, and cutting operating costs, cutting repair costs, cutting down on costly downtime, handling more lucrative freight, and staying true to his cheapskate principles all the way through. Talk about being street smart. Well, I will next time.
Thank you, Marty. Public service announcements. Computer Club meetings in the New York, New Jersey, and the Connecticut tri-state region. The computer clubs have random access sessions at each of these club meetings. If you have any questions or need for technical advice, the club members are more than happy to assist. All these computer club meetings that are announced are open, free to the public. Westchester PC Users Group, Hidden Gems, Thursday, March the 5th. Meeting time is 7 p.m. They meet at the Keller Williams New York Realty, located at 120 Bloomingdale Road in White Plains, New York. Amateur Computer Group of New Jersey has their meeting this Friday, March the 6th. Meeting time is 8 p.m., and they meet at the Scotch Plains Rescue Squad in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. The King's Bite Computer Club has a presentation on using Bluetooth devices on your iPhone. Tuesday, March the 10th. Meeting time is 7 p.m., and they meet at the Park Plaza restaurant located at 220 Cadman Plaza West in Brooklyn, New York. The New York Amateur Computer Club has lightning rounds of tips and tricks. Thursday, March the 12th. Meeting time is 7 p.m. at NYU at 32 Waverly Place, and that's the Silver Building. And check at the front desk for the room number. And they're located in Manhattan, New York. The Long Island Macintosh Users Group has a meeting on Friday the 13th, March the 13th. Meeting time is 7 p.m. and they meet at the New York Institute of Technology, Old Westbury campus, located at Northern Boulevard and Valentine's Lane, and they meet in the auditorium of the Harry J. Scher Hall. And the Trenton Computer Festival, TCF 2020, Saturday, March the 21st. And it will go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is the original Computer Festival, and it's the 45th anniversary of the show. tcf-nj.org for more information. Brookdale Computer Users Group has a presentation on Internet of Things and RFID tagging. Thursday, March the 26th. Meeting time is 6:45 p.m., and they meet in the Middletown Library Lodge Meeting Room, located at 55 New Monmouth Road in Middletown, New Jersey. The Computer Learning Center of Ewing has a presentation on Cutting the Cord, the Future of TV, Tuesday, April the 14th. Meeting time is 2 p.m., and they meet at 999 Lower Ferry Road in Ewing, New Jersey. Our website is pcradioshow.org. We are heard each Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on prn.fm, streaming on the Internet. Podcasts of the program is available on prn.fm, on the Internet, and pcradioshow.org. If you have any questions for us, just send us an email address to hank@pcradioshow.org. In the meantime, stay in touch and remember to do your regular backups. Hey, by the way, it's daylight saving time on Saturday night, so make sure you make the clock change. I'm Hank Key, and on behalf of Joe King, Michael Horowitz, Marty Winston, and Benjamin Rockwell, we thank you for listening. Stay safe and healthy until we meet again, same time, same station next week.